Many people think they need proof to believe in themselves. But that is not faith, that is evidence. Faith moves first. Neville taught that your assumption, when persisted in, will harden into fact. That means what you assume to be true, whether of yourself, of others, or of the world, will eventually become your lived experience. So, ask yourself, what am I assuming about myself right now? Am I assuming that I'll fail? That I'll always struggle? That others are more qualified, more gifted, more worthy? Then that is what life will mirror. But if I change the assumption, if I begin to assume that I am enough, that I am chosen, that I am capable, then the mirror must shift. It is law, not because I forced it, but because I aligned with it. The power to stop doubting yourself begins in your ability to choose a new assumption, to feel it deeply, and to return to it daily until it becomes your dominant state. Let us be clear. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. To believe in yourself is not to become boastful. It is to honor the God within. When you walk in self-trust, you are not inflating your ego, you are acknowledging the divine image you were made in. Neville would often remind his listeners that they are not separate from God. God is not in the sky, or a distant power to be begged. God is your own wonderful human imagination. So, begin now. Begin where you are. You don't need more evidence. You don't need another sign. What you need is to become still, to go within, and to feel the truth of your desired state. Say to yourself, I am. And after that, only speak words that reflect your chosen reality. I am confident. I am chosen. I am ready. Speak them until they feel natural. Speak them until your doubt begins to fade like mist under the morning sun. And when the old thoughts come back, and they will, for a time, do not be discouraged. Simply return, gently, lovingly, persistently. The moment you decide to trust yourself is the moment creation begins. Faith, as Neville Goddard profoundly expressed, is not mere belief, not hope, and certainly not blind allegiance to outer circumstances. Faith, in its true and powerful essence, is loyalty to the unseen reality, an unwavering commitment to the truth that what you imagine, what you feel with conviction, is more real than what your senses report. It is the deep understanding that the external world, with all its visible appearances and transient events, is nothing but the shadow cast by your inner convictions. Faith is not passive. It is not waiting for things to change, hoping for a better tomorrow, or observing signs in the outer world before deciding what is real. No, true faith is creative loyalty. It is the inner act of choosing, again and again, to stand by what is not yet seen by the eye, but fully known by the heart. To have faith is to declare that your inner world, the world of your assumptions, imaginal acts, and felt states, is the true cause, and that the outer world is merely the effect. Most people reverse this. They let the outer world dictate how they feel, what they believe, and what they assume to be possible. But those who understand the nature of creation, the nature Goddard revealed through scripture and imagination, know that what is not yet visible is not unreal. It is merely in the process of becoming visible. It is faith that bridges the gap. It is faith that nourishes the seed of desire until it blooms into form. When you imagine something and feel it to be true, you are planting that seed into the subconscious, the womb of creation. But the moment you look around and say, where is it? Why hasn't it come? You uproot the seed. You demonstrate disloyalty to the unseen. And this is where many fail. They start strong in imagination. They feel the wish fulfilled. But they soon turn their attention back to the outer world, to circumstances, to lack. And doubt begins to whisper. Doubt is the great thief. It doesn't just steal your dreams. It convinces you they were never real to begin with. And yet, Goddard reminds us that the imagination is the only reality and that everything in your outer world was first imagined. The house you live in, the job you work, the relationships you hold, all were first conceived in imagination by you or another. So why not consciously assume the role of creator? Why not become loyal to your vision instead of a victim of circumstance? To be loyal to the unseen reality means you do not let your senses override your knowing. You don't abandon your dream just because it has not yet materialized. Instead, you walk as if it has. You feel as if it's already done. You return, again and again, to the state of the wish fulfilled, knowing that every time you do, you're reinforcing the structure of your unseen reality. And the more you return to it, the more it hardens into fact. This is not metaphysical poetry, it is spiritual law. Goddard taught this through scripture, drawing on the stories of Abraham, Joseph, and Jesus, not as historical figures, but as psychological truths. Abraham, who believed against hope. Joseph, who remained faithful to his vision in the pit, the prison, and the palace. Jesus, who said, when you pray, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. This is not passive waiting. This is active inner living. This is living in the in. Faith, then, is a commitment to dwell mentally in the desired state, even when the physical world offers no evidence. Especially when it offers no evidence. Because faith grows in the absence of proof. It strengthens in the silence. It is in the silence that your inner world speaks loudest. It's in the quiet moments, before sleep, in meditation, or in stillness, that you must choose your inner allegiance. Will you align with fear or with faith? With what is, or with what can be? Your answer to this is not just philosophical, it is creative. Because whatever you are loyal to in imagination, you will give birth to in form. This is why Goddard insisted that imagination is God in action. Not a metaphor, God. Your awareness of being is God. What you are conscious of being, you become. So choose wisely. Choose to be loyal not to your fears, but to your vision. Let the unseen become your sanctuary, your truth, your guide. And as you do, you will discover that the unseen is not unreal. It is simply unexpressed. And your faith is the bridge that brings it into view. To understand faith in the way Neville Goddard taught it is to step out of the conditioned mind. The mind that clings to what it sees, to what it hears, to what it can touch and measure, and step into the realm of consciousness, where all things begin. This is not fantasy. This is the origin of all creation. Goddard made it clear that everything begins in imagination, and imagination is not daydreaming or idle thinking. It is the creative force of God operating through you. Every structure you see around you, every system, every invention, every work of art, every relationship, it all originated first in someone's mind, as an image, as a feeling, as an assumption. So when we speak of faith being loyalty to the unseen reality, we are speaking about a devotion to the truth that consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of being will eventually express itself in your world. The difficulty arises not because this is untrue, but because most people do not persist long enough in their inner conviction. You see, you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve imagination and circumstance at the same time. You must choose. Will you remain loyal to the truth you have seen in the silence of your own mind? Or will you surrender your power to the fleeting appearances of the world? This is the test. Faith is tested not when things go well, but when they appear not to. When you look around and nothing seems to change, that is the moment of your choosing. Opportunities show up as you expect them to. Money flows or withholds according to your state of being. Relationships blossom or wither based on your assumptions. Not because of karma, not because of luck, but because of law. The law of assumption. And faith is the engine of that law. To have faith is to hold your inner reality as sacred, as the one true source of power. To have faith is to return again and again to your vision, to dwell in it, to live in it, even when no one else understands. And many won't. They will call it unrealistic. They will ask for proof. They will demand that you explain yourself. But you owe no explanation, because faith is personal. It is an inward journey. It is between you and your imagination, between you and the God within you. And when you begin to walk in that inner knowing, you find that the world bends to meet you, not through force, not through manipulation, but through resonance. What you are internally loyal to will eventually show up externally. You are here to see with the eye of imagination, to feel from the end, and to remain loyal to that unseen reality until it takes shape. The world will try to distract you, to convince you that what is seen is final. But you now know otherwise. What is seen is only what was imagined yesterday, and what you dare to feel now will become what is seen tomorrow. This is not just encouragement, it is law. You do not have to know how it will happen. You only have to know that it is already done. That inner assumption, that inner knowing, is the birthplace of miracles. Keep returning to it. Keep trusting it. Keep feeling it. No matter how loud the world becomes, go back to the silence where your vision lives. And be loyal. Be loyal not to what your eyes see, but to what your heart knows. That is the true meaning of faith. And in that faith, all things are possible.